Live Free Academy, John Bush, about Dr. Joseph Mercola getting debanked. And I was just like, check this out. And so I just wanted to bring this to your attention. The article that I'm referencing is actually from the Epoch Times. We mentioned before in the past, you know, to one, diversify your banking infrastructure. If you can, take control of your own banking function, but certainly work within the confines and the construct of local, much more local, fiscally responsible banks within your locality that are contractually restricted to in their lending and that are fiscally conservative and actually have cash on hand. So when you need to take money out, there's ease of access to it. And we work directly with two local banks that I've spoken to both CEOs, and they're very fiscally conservative and responsible. But here is why. So check this out. Case in point, Chase shuts down accounts for Dr. Mercola's companies. JP Morgan Chase is shutting down accounts for companies owned by vaccine critic Dr. Joseph Mercola. The primary accounts for several Mercola-owned businesses, including Mercola Market, are being shut down in August. Financial institutions have an obligation to know our customers and monitor transactions that flow through our customers' accounts. The notice states, after careful consideration, we've decided to close your account because of unexpected activity on these or another Chase accounts. Accounts for Mercola, CEO Stephen Rye, Mr. Rye's wife, Chief Financial Officer Amelia Legaspi, Mrs. Legaspi's husband, Mrs. Legaspi's son are all being closed. These are the they, them, those, and the bank thug life and the thug criminals, right, of the oligarchies and the technocrats. This is absolutely why you certainly don't bank with the big six. And absolutely decentralize and localize your funds. If you can, participate in what we call private family banking, control your banking function, and take back control of your finances. The account holders are being given until August 11th. Isn't that nice? That's so kind to move funds to another institution. So they basically, I'm not quite sure why there wasn't enough insight. That why I understand when you have very large accounts set up with very large banks, and I understand the complexity of deconstructing that, and that's what they're taking advantage of. So it wouldn't be a simple thing to move their accounts. But anyway, Anthony Odysee, a Chase vice president, told Mr. Rye in a voicemail that he asked for the reason and was told for legal reasons. They could not tell me why they are closing the account. Wow, that sounds like YouTube's terms of service. Okay, Mr. Odysee, we're doing this, but we can't tell you why we're doing this. That is such the technocratic panopticon retardia post-truth 1984, but that's where we live. It's not a guarantee once we put in for reconsideration that they will keep the accounts open. There's no guarantee of that, but we are going to try because you're a good client of our institution. Oh, thank you. Thank you, benevolent overlords. You're so kind. Thank you for your consideration. Mr. Rye told the Epoch Times that in phone calls with Chase reps, they said changes were made in the back end and that they cannot access the back end to see the changes. So this is further warnings regarding CBDC, blockchain, and back ends and the way that they're going to manipulate and run everything in the back end. This is also why you don't want to participate in that, because they're just going to reconstruct, deconstruct, and then even people that want to help you aren't going to be able to help you. Mr. Rye said that he believes Chase either based its decision on illegal acts from the account holders, which he says did not take place, or from Chase itself, which could run afoul of a new Florida law that bars banks from denying services to people for their religious, political, or social beliefs. Dr. Mercola has been a strong critic of the government's response. Some of his articles are republished by the Epoch Times. Chase has refused to provide any reason for the debanking. We are your masters, and we allow your papers. Chase has refused to provide any reason for the debanking, Mercola said in a statement. They won't say, hey, what's this wire for? What's this transaction for? Mr. Rye said, we've been doing business with them forever, right? Even in that voicemail, Tony, who we've known forever, says, you guys are great customers. I don't know what's happening. He added, I think it was a little bit surprising to the timing. So I found that a little bit unusual. So I can only speculate. I don't know exactly why they did it, but we've looked at everything within our records. There is nothing that we did. Even if the decisions are reversed, it would be hard to trust Chase enough to keep the accounts. Well, thank you. Thank you. Please. Even if the decisions are reversed, okay, he and others are preparing to move their money through other institutions before the deadline. Here's what my recommendation is to you. Move your accounts. I was just talking to a friend of mine and yesterday, and I mentioned this, and he's like, oh, I got all my money with Chase. Well, why in the world? Why? Why? That's retarded. Okay. So first recommendation, you'll be a retard. All right. Just like to shoot you straight. And hey, y'all, I want y'all to go check out Perma Pasture Farms. They're on YouTube. I want you to check out the Permaculture Pimpcast. My brother from another mother, Billy Bonds, and his son William run that. It is spectacular. You're going to love that podcast. You can get it on any podcaster. I really like the Fountain app. Check that out. Permaculture Pimpcast. And if you go over to Perma Pasture Farms on YouTube or the Permaculture Pimpcast on your whichever podcaster you use, tell Billy that the Texas Boys sent you. I've been like binging on their podcast. It is excellent. It's edifying. It's great. And it's relevant. And especially if you're in our ranching, gardening, regenerative ag, and also keep it real and talk about real life and acknowledge reality. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And I greatly appreciate that. For privacy reasons, we cannot discuss customer relationships, but we don't close accounts because of political affiliations, and we didn't do so in this case. Just ask Kanye. Mr. Odysee did not respond for a request for comment. Robert F. Kennedy, a Democrat running for president who also has been critical of the medical procedures, was among those decrying what happened. Looks like Chase shut down long-time accounts of Mercola's companies, employees, and their family members. No reason given. I wonder if it has anything to do with their medical descent. Mr. Kennedy wrote on Twitter, no payment platform should be allowed to discriminate against people for exercising their right to free speech. Well, in a post 1984 post truth dystopia, I mean, that is obviously more that's just the way it is, y'all. So this is postmodern, post truth world. And I just wanted to jump on here. I wanted to look, okay. I understand people don't. Hey, baby. I understand people don't like the term. I'm using it in the 1990s before everybody got their feels hurt. So if you're offended, I apologize. But people used to be able to talk like that without people going out of their way to be offended. So I think everybody needs to, grow up and toughen up, and we can talk real, and we can use terms that everybody's hair doesn't turn purple and they get offended and burst into flames. But please don't cry. I certainly, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That used to be true. So, I mean, that's just the way it is. But so I know I apologize. I apologize for apologizing. I should have done that. But hey, y'all, thanks for jumping on here real quick. I just wanted to get this out there. We're going to be releasing a couple of years. Probably won't be. We're still having some difficulties with our internet. We're trying to work that out. It's the carrier, so we're working through that. But hang in there. We are going to be launching maybe this week if we can get all our tech working properly. We will be launching a podcast, so look for that announcement. It'll be on all your pod players. And we are going to be on the Permaculture Pimcast later this week, probably by the weekend. And so be on the lookout for that and for a bunch of other great, exciting stuff. And if you are local and looking for beef or pork, we do still have some. I think we're doing quarters now, so we do still have that available. Take advantage of that. Some grass-fed, grass-finished, good stuff with no type of intervention that's necessary since God created them. And I left the verse at the bottom of the screen that I want you to reference today, Revelation 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark, or not just the mark, y'all, whatever the mark is, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So there's lots of factors in buying or selling. But it looks like the Mercolas, if they stay at Chase, cannot buy or sell. So um, it's very fascinating as people that discredit the scriptures in the Bible are acknowledging this construction of the beast system, and not just the construction, but now the implementation of it. There's other stuff. Keep reading, and if this Mark stuff is true, and this buy and sell stuff is true, and the rest of it might be true, and God's coming back, and He's not happy. Okay, and when Christ returns, it's not going to be good. So for most people, straight is the gate and narrow is the way. We appreciate y'all. Have an incredibly awesome, wonderfully blessed day, and see you on the next video.